There she goes.
There's our girl.
I love talking to you because whenever I interview you, I always write questions for everyone, but I never have to use my questions because we just have like such a flowing conversation and we hit all the questions and I love it.
I'm so glad. That makes me happy. Yay. Thanks for saying that. I can talk.
No,
I can
some
talk.
people it's like pulling teeth. I'm like, so what do you love about, this? And they're like, well, I'm like, oh my God, please give me
Hmm.
something.
Yeah. I can imagine. Maybe some people aren't as comfortable,
Yeah, that's true.
you know. I trust you though. Sometimes I will talk if it's like a someone I've never been interviewed by before, I'll try to get to know them a little bit
Mhm.
on a level where I'm like, okay, this would be a good experience.
Yeah, because that must be, now that you say that, I'm like, wow, like talking to someone that you've never talked to before, a stranger about such intimate things, it's like
For
you
sure.
gotta suss out whether you can trust them with that information.
Yeah, sometimes it's a Q&A via email,
Mhm.
which is, a different thing, which is cool. Um, and I have another friend that is a writer that I did a really long thing with her. It was a it was a podcasty type interview when Kiss Me in the Rain came out. But anyway, yeah, I definitely sometimes am like, okay, I want to make sure that this is going to be valuable for the listener and there's good intention behind it. Because yeah, you're right. I mean, you're talking to a stranger.
Mhm. So to jump back in,
Yeah.
um, so grief is like a big motif here. I wanted to ask you, like, who in your like past that you've listened to, other artists, have talked or sang, written about grief that you like kind of drew inspiration from, or who you are inspired by?
That's a great question. Tori Amos, for sure.
Oh, love.
Yeah, she's my favorite artist of all time. Tori Amos, yeah. Her song Winter, I kind of like always knew that that was going to be the song that would help me through grief whenever I experienced it. So I've actually only been able to listen to Winter once. I haven't listened to that song in 8 years
Wow.
since my dad passed. Yeah. Um, it's just it just goes right to the jugular,
That
of
story.
that's Tori. That's why we love her. It's why we love her. Oddly enough, some Neil Diamond songs because me and my dad listened to Neil Diamond,
Oh.
and I think it's a cover. He did a lot of cover songs, right? So I'm not exactly sure if he wrote it, but it's the song that he sings called "If You Go Away." That was there for me a lot,
Okay.
and of course, Taylor Swift song uh, "Marjorie."
Ooh, that's
Ve-
another gut-wrenching one.
Very powerful. Yeah. So a lot of classical music too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you
I,
think that writing about grief is kind of like we were talking about earlier before we cut off? Do you think it's becoming more popular since the pandemic, you think?
I think whether or not it's because of the pandemic, I don't know. I do see more people talking about it, whether it's a podcast or music. I think that it's becoming a little more accepted. I will say it's not, this is a little bit of a segue, but I think it relates is what was really inspiring for me for Otherworld and moving forward as a songwriter is when some of the baddest gals in the industry were changing the game. And I found that really inspiring. When Taylor Swift came out with folklore and Evermore and even Tortured Poets, I was like, this is the person at the top,
Yeah.
and she is taking a huge risk sonically by coming out with these records that no one anticipated, right? You know,
Hmm.
I say this lovingly. There's no real like pop bangers on Evermore or Folklore.
Right.
And I thought that was really, really powerful because someone in Taylor Swift's position has the ability to change the way people listen to music.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I'm grateful for that because, of course, we would love another Shake It Off from her, you know, but
Hmm.
I think it's really impactful and powerful that she released music like that that was obviously so poignant for her and the creators that she worked with.
Hmm.
Same with Lana Del Rey, you know.
Yeah.
I think that it took a little bit of time for people to kind of be like, oh, we're not going to have another Blue Jeans for a minute. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know if you follow her career,
Yeah.
but like
Oh
she
yeah. I
kind of
love me some Lana
slowly,
Del Rey.
yeah, she kind of slowly started to step away from that.
Hmm.
And as a huge fan, you know, when she came out with Chemtrails, Ocean, um, do you know there's a tunnel under Ocean Boulevard?
Under Ocean Boulevard, yeah.
I'm staring at the vinyl. As you know, a small independent artist, I was like, this is amazing because this is not what people are expecting. These are either really like stripped down songs or they're really intimate songs, or sure, they're catchy in their own way, but they're not meant to be a pop banger hit.
Yeah.
That's not the intention behind the song. They're diving deeper into the human condition.
Hmm.
And for the little guys over here, it's really inspiring and helpful because it's like influencing listeners to be more accepting.
Yes. Yeah. And it shows there's like the thing about emotion, there's a time for every emotion, even if it's like a little bit what people call depressing. That's why I hear about Lana's music a lot. But it's like we
Yeah.
all have those emotions. They're real.
Yeah. Her song, Hope is a dangerous thing for a woman
Hmm.
like me to have. That helped me a lot, not just through grief, but I turn that song on whenever I'm feeling like rock bottom
Hmm.
because the way that her vocals are stylized in that song to convey to me it sounds like she's conveying hitting rock bottom, and of course I'm sure she has her own meaning for the song, but for me what it means for me is just really sitting at rock bottom.
Yeah.
I don't smoke, but it sounds like she's lighting a cigarette sitting down at rock bottom, like I'm just gonna sit here and really take a look around.
Enjoy the view.
Yeah, I mean that's what it and that's why I love what's happening right now in pop music in regards to artists like that, and especially in kind of unexpectedly for me being moved into uh, synthwave,
Hmm.
whatever you would like to call it. I don't know what it is. I like to think I write pop music, but um, just seeing the expectations visually that people have is really bizarre for me.
What do you mean visually? Like for like videos and stuff or
Like overall aesthetic, like physical aesthetic,
ah,
right?
okay.
Like synthwave is so niche that I feel like the audience needs the visual aesthetics to quote unquote match the
Mm,
the music to a very specific degree. And while I can appreciate that, you're going to run into um, repetition. You
yeah.
know, everything's going to start looking the same. And I've never been interested in 80s aesthetic personally. And anytime that's happened, it's honestly been an accident. So anyway, my point is that I would notice that even if my song was synth wave-esque, there would be confusion because I had looked like I was wearing something that wasn't synth wavy.
I see.
You see? And so I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, guys, we we gotta evaluate here. We listen to music with our ears.
Yes. Yes.
I really hope that you would love my music even if I'm wearing a potato sack. Like, of course we love visuals. We're not knocking visual value. But at the end
Yeah.
of the day, at the end of the day, the music is the most important thing. So what
Mhm.
I wanted to do with Otherworld is kind of just turn that on its head and challenge people. Like this is a synthwave record. It doesn't look like one though.
I love that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
important.
even the visualizer that you put on YouTube, I was like, ooh, this is something really different. Like, I was not expecting that.
Thanks.
Loved it.
I'm so glad. Yeah, I just wanted to. I love film.
Mhm.
I love as much as I can. I try to shoot on film
And your
versus
music
just.
is very cinematic.
Thank you. Oh, day made.
Like, you
Day
can sit
made.
down and just like close your eyes and listen to it and like picture
Yeah,
something. Like,
I'm so glad. But then I can also do something fun and lighthearted, like True Blue. You know, I
mhm.
mean, there's that's just me getting into trouble with boys. There's like that. There's like these two sides of me. You know, there's like the deep, dramatic death and poetry and Elizabethan court music. There's like that, and then there's like I love boys. I
See,
am
that's why I relate to you
really
because I'm
crazy.
like Lana Del Rey, Dark Stormy Night, but also like I love Britney Spears.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, I mean, every once in a while, I mean, I think the next, not to sound crazy, but the record after Otherworld is probably going to be a lot more fun.
mm,
That's the goal. Because so many really horrible things have happened to me in my personal life recently. I told my producer, I was like, we can't do another dark album. Like the next record, even though like shitty things are happening, we're gonna make it fun. Like it's the only other direction we can go at this point. But we just have to make this really fun. Um, True Blue was supposed to be on Otherworld,
mm,
but it
interesting.
yeah, it didn't fit on the vinyl. Like
Sometimes it's that vinyl that does
like
it.
time like the time of the record was too long.
Mm,
And so my label was like, "Hey, we love the song, but like well, actually no, they didn't they asked me. They said, "What song, like what do you want to do here? Because you have 12 songs and we can't fit them all." So they gave me the ability to choose. Um, And I was like, if I'm honest, True Blue was the last thing I wrote in the
mm.
Otherworld era. And to me, that kind of also means it's a weird sneak peek of like what's coming after.
Yeah.
So weird how things happen like that.
It's like
But
in song purgatory. It's like in the middle.
well, so I thought, you know what? Let's if it's not going to go in Otherworld, it's such a fun song. It's gotta go out into the world.
Mhm.
True Blue needs to be heard. So that's why I released it as a one-off in September. I was like,
Oh, okay.
let's just make a fun video. Such a fun hook. Um, it's about I love writing about the trouble I get into with boys because I love taking like the real things that happened. I think those are always the most interesting.
Yes, they are.
Because then you have people that are like, did you really like make out in front of a diner? It's like, yes. It
True
was
story.
it was a Waffle House. There's a Waffle House, but diner is much more aesthetically pleasing.
Oh my gosh, it is. Waffle Houses are a little grimy, but that's why we love them.
Yeah, I don't like Waffle House, so but it was
No
late.
sponsorship from Waffle House for this episode, guys.
I actually thought about that. Like, there it goes. There goes my potential sponsorship with Waffle House. It's not going to happen. That's okay.
So when does Otherworld come out? Early next year?
Yeah, I can't say the date yet, but I can say
Hmm.
that it's very early into 2025.
Yes, cool.
Yeah, and the pre-order will probably start in February.
Awesome.
I think
Cool.
like early
Yeah.
February.
So just
That's
stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned.
stay super tuned. And there's going to be a lot of physical merchandise. So same thing,
Nice.
all the Kiss Me in the Rain merch we had, like we're gonna have that for Otherworld. Just like mini discs, which is hilarious to me, but people like them. So
Are you gonna do a cassette?
yeah, there's mini disc, cassette,
Yes.
two different vinyl colorways, CD. A, and then there's gonna be a bundle, which I'm not sure what's in the bundle. I think the bundle actually might have a third vinyl color, but I
Mhm.
also might be making that up. But I do know that for the bundle, I'm actually gonna have signed posters this time. That was a huge gripe from everyone last time was they got this bundle for Kiss Me. They got this really cool like I don't know if it was almost like 27 by 41 poster. No, it's not that big, but it was whatever. And like the general consensus was like, why isn't this signed? And I thought, okay, well, I didn't send them out. They're up in New York. So this time I'm gonna do, 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 sign a bunch of stuff and then send it to my label so they can ship it out
That's awesome.
and have their signed poster.
One last question for you. What are some other themes that people can look forward to songwriting wise from this album?
Reflecting on true love, like innocent young love.
Nice.
That's one of them. The worst breakup of my life. That's on the record. My mom had cancer while I was making the record. So there's just some more life reflection going
Mhm.
on. There's a song on the album called Betrayal, which deals with a really messed up breakup.
Mm,
Yeah,
I love it already.
it gets real. Yeah, so really just a lot of relationships came to a close for me while I was writing,
Mhm.
and a lot of new things began as well. So it's really just uh, s- writing about all of that and singing about all that through the lens of fantasy aesthetic. But not so on the nose that it's like cheesy, you know? Not like
Yeah.
I'm in knight armor and I'm, you know, casting a spell with my wizard wand. That's more power to anyone out there who is actually like doing that.
Yeah.
But if I did that lyrically for Jessie Frye, that would be like, what?
All
What did she say?
right. Tell everybody that's listening where they can find you online, where they can find your music.
JessieFrye.com is a good place to start. And then just really YouTube is a good place to follow me. That's my favorite place to interact. I'm on Instagram. I'm not on X anymore.
Yeah, X is no good.
Yeah, take that.
You're that
Like,
Elon.
yeah. Instagram, I think I already said that. Anywhere really, just Google me. Um, the new music is available through New Retrowave, but my back catalog is available on my Bandcamp. So
Cool.
yeah, enter my name into the Oracle and you shall find it.
Very fitting, very fitting. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you later. Bye. All right, I'm gonna end the recording.